Hello, 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 and welcome to Mini Mike Convos podcast with me, Jen. If you're tuning in from last week, welcome. I'm excited to have you. First things first, surprise! I cut my hair. What do we think? What do we think? I'm guessing about 12 inches off because my hair was down to about my hips, and now it's all the way up here. I was kind of sad, but also I understood that I needed it cut. It wasn't a healthy length, and you just it was a healthy length, but it wasn't healthy hair at the end of the day. It was very getting matted almost from when I was at work. I would have it straightened, and I mean, yes, I have a pretty active job, so it could get knotted from that. But even on the weekends or something where I'm just doing a few errands, and if I had it straightened and down, I would come home and it would be matted at the ends or up under by my neck from I don't even know what. And I am experiencing lots of hair loss right now, which I was worried it was I just pulled out hair right there. I was worried that it was a thyroid issue, which it's still getting worked out. I'm getting a second opinion because I don't really know if I trust the doctors that I spoke to and did all the blood work with. They just, one, they were very rude to me and did not care to listen to every single symptom that I'm experiencing. And so, but I cut my hair to see if maybe it was just the length of my hair that was causing the hair falling out and whatnot. But yeah, it was weird. All of a sudden, within the last few weeks, it's been falling out like crazy, and it was honestly, I'm terrified still. I don't know quite really what to expect. So I talked to my mom because my mom has low thyroid. My grandparents both do. My great grandmother did. So when I talk to them about their side effects, I experience a lot of the same symptoms as them. And my hair falling out, I have super dry skin. Uh I have dry scalp. I'm always cold. I have such a hard time losing weight, and just it's it's kind of really rough for me because I have severe body dysmorphia. And so for me, and I have, you know, other issues that I will get into in just a little bit about my body and stuff, but it's really hard to deal with all of those things, and for just a doctor to just kind of brush you off. I thought it was very rude and sort of unprofessional. I'm here because I'm scared, and you're just telling me that I'm exaggerating, I'm making all of this up in my head. So I just, I don't know. I had a hard time with it, and it truly is still bugging me. So I'm going to get a second opinion, and hopefully this time the doctor will listen to me. But yeah, so now I kind of wanted to get into um, talk a little bit about my body dysmorphia and that type of things. So trigger warning for that. Disordered eating, anything like that. If those things affect you negatively and you don't like to hear about it, please skip ahead. I don't know the timestamp. I will tell you the timestamp on the video, but just please be aware that that's what we're going to be talking about now. So I have disordered eating. I have a very unhealthy view on food, and I've had it for a few years now. And thankfully, I've never been at the point where it's needed to be severely watched or anything, but it is something that I do deal with. And along comes, body image issues. And another reason why I kept my hair so long was because I wanted to hide my body. And I always thought like short hair would make me look fatter, or it would make me look ugly, or it would make my face look rounder than it already is. And with the long hair, I'm like, hey, like it can kind of cover my stomach a little bit. It can kind of cover like parts of my face and my neck and my jawline, which even with the haircut I have now, it still can do that. Like it can still cover my jawline. But it's such a it's such a crappy thing that that's why I never cut my hair, was because of those negative feelings that I have towards my body. And not saying that it's easy to get over, because I've been wanting to cut my hair for like a few months now, and that might not be a long time to some people, but it's a long time to me. And it, it's just, I hated it. And I hated the feeling that I had to do certain things, or I have to dress a certain way, so that way I don't show off like a pouch. I call it my pouch that I have on my stomach, or anything like that. Like I wear certain bathing suits in the summertime, and I'm getting tired of it. Like I'm getting exhausted having to worry about what I look like to others, when really this whole year that I'm really working on is not caring and not giving a shit what other people think and what I look like to others. And so it's just overall, like, at the end of the day, it is no one's business what I look like, what I eat, how I eat, those types of things. I am not put on this earth to please anybody else besides myself. And if I make others happy along the way, I'm doing something phenomenal. But I also have to make sure I'm making myself happy too. So that's kind of what I've been working on with me, and just getting out of my comfort zone, like doing this podcast. I don't know if anyone's ever going to really watch this and be like, oh yeah, like I really did this, or like I really like this, or I don't, but it's getting me out of my comfort zone. And does it make me feel weird when people are like, I watched your podcast, by the way? And I'm like, okay, thanks. Like, I don't know if that's a normal thing that people, when they first start doing this stuff, feels, but holy cow, is it weird. I am not the, what do I call this? Like, I don't like being the center of attention. I like being in the background. I always have. That's why I didn't do a lot of things growing up that I was passionate about. Like, I loved music and I loved theater, but I never participated because I never wanted to be the center of attention. I am comfortable being the background person, and I just I want to get out. I want to get out of that funk of always being okay with being a background person. So that's kind of why I was like, actually, you know what? Like I think let's do it this way, or let's do it that way. So, yeah, it's just crazy to me. And I had posted on Instagram like, what do you want to hear me talk about in my podcast? And I only had one person that really said anything to me, and it was they wanted to hear about my house and like the house renovations and things like that, which I would be more than happy to talk about. So I figured I'd talk a little bit about that today, because we so me and my husband moved in to my house in January. The house that I own with my husband is the house that my great grandma and great grandfather built together in the 50s. Um, he built this house, and me and my husband bought it from them. Well, mostly from my grandma because my grandpa's been um, passed away for over 10 years now, and I we bought it in 2020, right before like everything skyrocketed, which thank God because the interest rates right now are ridiculous. But what we did is we let her stay in this house until she passed away. So we bought the house with the intention of letting her stay here until she passes because I didn't want to have to deal with, lawyers and all this other things and like what's the word? Inheritance and like probate and all those things. I'm like, I'm just gonna buy it when she's still alive, right state of mind, and we'll pay on it, we'll pay the mortgage and the utilities and everything while we're here, and we just won't do anything crazy until she's gone. Well, she passed away last October, which was very hard for me. I was very close to my great grandmother. So something about her house is it's right next door to my mom's, and I grew up there. And so instead of like my mom sending us to a daycare or something, she just sent us up to my grandma's. And so I grew up in this house along with at my mom's house, obviously, but I spent a lot of my childhood here. And so this house has so much meaning to me. And because people were like, well, why would you buy a house that was built so long ago? It hasn't been updated since the 70s. Like, you got to wait to get in there. And it's like, I am more of a sentimental person than anything else. And this house has memories and so many good things that have happened in this house. So, why would I not want this? Like, it's insane to me. So when she passed away in October, we didn't start renovations until end of October, early November, just because one, it took a while for some of the kids to come in and get their belongings. Uh, it took a while for me and my husband Mitchell to get, comfortable with coming in here and not realizing that it's her house anymore. And I'm going to try not to cry. But it's a hard thing to get through. So, what we did is we redid two bedrooms and the bathroom that's in the house. So, we redid our bedroom, the bathroom, and then this room is actually a bedroom, but I made it my office. So, and like obviously we updated a few things like, well, really we didn't, but so the bathroom we took down to the studs because the drywall was so old. We were unsure about the insulation, all these things, the electric work in the bathroom needed redone. So we just took it right down to the studs and rebuilt it completely, which was a lot of work. And then in the bedrooms, we redid the ceiling in this room because there was a leak and a hole in it. So we got the leak fixed and the hole in the drywall fixed in the ceiling. And then we repainted and put flooring down in all the rooms that we redid. And then our bedroom, kind of same thing in here. We repainted and put new flooring down, basically. So it took us from November to end of December for all the renovations, which feels like it's a long time, but really wasn't because me and my husband both were still working full time. I was also running my business. So, and let's face it, I'm not the handiest person in the world when it comes to that stuff. So, he did a lot of it. His dad came out and helped a lot too, but he can only work on the weekends with it, which was fine, but that's a long time. And also like just having to deal with like the holidays and missing those days that we could have worked on it. And um something about Mitchell's family is that they live up north. They live 2 hours north of our town, and so like going up there for holidays took away, at least 2 days because we go up one day and we stay the night and come back the next. So that's kind of why it took a little bit longer too. But crazy thing is we became official, I guess is what you want to call it, in January. We met in November when we were young. Um, when we were still in high school, we met in November and made it official in January. And we moved in here this like the same day, if not like maybe a day or two off of the day we made it official, which to me is freaking wild how time works that way. But yeah, it was such a like, okay, it's meant to be. Like it's meant to be that this is the time we move in. It's meant to be that this is why it took so long. And I'm a firm believer in that, and like numbers and all that stuff just fascinates me. I don't know why. But yeah, it was just overall it was a very chaotic time. Grieving and holidays and working two full-time jobs at that point. I don't want to relive that. I know I will have to again eventually because, right, you're always gonna, that is one thing that we can guarantee in this world is death, unfortunately. But, like, overall, like, 0 out of 10, do not recommend that because, good Lord, was that horrible. So, yeah, that was kind of my big overall statement on the house. It really helps that Mitchell's a plumber, so like all the plumbing and stuff was done fine, and like he did really good with the drywall, and he, you know, not ever doing this stuff all the time as much as he did. Like I think we did fantastic. Not to like toot our own horns, but that's what I feel. So that's kind of all I have for this week. I'm sorry if it's not very long and you were hoping for it to be. But again, you know, this week's been kind of hectic. Like, I got sick last Friday, and normally that's the day I film. So now I'm gonna film, like, I filmed this on a Sunday, and which is fine. But, like, I have like 105 other things that I need to also get done today. So that is kind of all I have for you, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks again for always being my strangers that I get to share my life with on the internet. And yeah, if you have any suggestions, leave them down below. Message me on Instagram or, like something. Uh, but yeah, I'm excited and thank you again. And I'm gonna do something crazy. Not crazy. Why do I sound like it's ridiculous? But I also had this idea of like when I end the podcast, I'm gonna do like a mini mic drop. So thanks again for tuning in, and here is the mini mic drop. Whoop. All right, bye guys.